Sherrone Moore, who was rumored to have door dashed some Plan B over to his mistress at the University of Michigan. He, of course, is the head football coach at the school, was recently fired after the relationship that she previously concealed, and he definitely concealed throughout the duration, was discovered from the University of Michigan. She broke up with, as reported, the coach on December 8th. And then told the University of Michigan about the relationship on December 10th. He was fired. He had some moments Bakari wants to talk about. And I want to talk about if she should be fired, because people right now are talking about whether or not a subordinate should be fired in this circumstance. So I'd love to hear y'all's thoughts on this. It's a little bit of white mess, a little bit of black mess. We'll call it a little bit of Oreo mess. But it is a mess. And we were talking about mental health earlier, so all jokes aside, he also had a really severe breakdown, it looks like, by threatening
that man ain't had no man, no.
He threatened her life. Bakari,
first of all,
he threatened her life.
He didn't have no severe mental breakdown.
But it was a knife.
It was a butter knife. That man Tiffany. He was playing games.
What troubles me about this story in particular, and I think there's historical context, I said to somebody the other day, I was like, this might be the first time I've ever agreed with Dr. Umar on some stuff. But like, it just feels like Black women in the same position as this subordinate at school would not have the same protection by the school. I do not believe, even based on what's the policy they have listed, the policy they put in place after the provost at the school was sexually harassing women is policy number 201.97. And in that policy, they require that if you're in a relationship with a subordinate, the supervisor must report the relationship. Well, he denied the relationship and so did the subordinate, but she actively concealed text messages and denied the relationship. I don't know what happened for her to break up with him, but I just think that in these situations, I want to know more. I want to know more about what happened. I'm not justifying his violent behavior at all, but I'm very curious to know, what, like, did she threaten him? Was this an extortion moment? Was like, what happened to make her say, now I'm going to report this relationship after denying it? And then two, I just feel like, again, if a Black woman were in the same position, one, she wouldn't have got that 55% raise this young lady got. And two, I think that she would have been fired. I really do.
I don't know all can I ask a legal question to the lawyers?
Yeah, go ahead.
What you just read, Angela, said the supervisor must disclose the relationship.
Yep.
Ergo, the onus is on the supervisor,
Absolutely.
the most senior person. So I don't see wrongdoing in her part legally. So I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
I want clarity.
This is the part me and Bakari are arguing about, because I'm saying that is true. That is what their policy says. It's not the law. That's what University of Michigan's policy is. But if you're confronted about an alleged relationship and you deny said relationship and you also conceal text messages, they went through her phone. So when you do all of that, you are actively doing something wrong. I think she should be penalized, whether it's a suspension or something. I think that she should be penalized too. I really do. I'm not saying he shouldn't be fired. He should be fired. But I'm saying there should be some type of penalty for her involvement in the relationship.
So they're two different things. I hear you, Tiffany. But the first thing is, Angela's talking about something that falls outside of that ordinance that she read, because she's talking about impeding some type of internal investigation or obstructing it, which the young lady clearly did. However, she eventually came back and rectified all of that and told her truth and brought receipts and all those other type of things. But it's very difficult to, and this word, I know we're going to get crucified, or I am in the comments for using this word in describing her, but this is an accurate legal term in describing her in this situation. You cannot fire the victim of any type of sexual harassment or improper relationship in this setting. You just simply cannot. They already going to have to pay her. Firing her looks like some form of retribution. And if I was advising them, I'd just be like, you keep her along. The other thing is, I think a Black woman would have got the raise, because apparently it was that good that he was handing out raises and everything else. So he didn't get no approval. He was like, He was like, man, this box is amazing. Here goes an
Oh,
extra
my
55%. So that's my opinion. But Andrew, back to my question, which was the best question asked on this show in a long time. I've actually crashed out once with my current wife. She made me mad. She went down to homecoming. That's not even her homecoming,
Not
by the
she
way.
made me mad. Not
What,
she
home?
made me
were
Morehouse
mad.
arguing.
homecoming?
Yeah, she went to Morehouse Spelman because, her whole family went down there. And she was
Yeah.
like, we going to the club and all this other stuff. We had been arguing. And I punched a hole in the wall. Okay?
Oh.
So,
In front of her?
no, she was gone. We were on the
And-
phone. I
Okay.
hung up and punched a hole in the wall. Not with her. Not
I
around
hope
her.
your hand hurt too. I hope your hand hurt real
No,
bad.
I
That is
mean,
But what was the anger? What drove you to that reaction?
Her going
was
to party
missing
while
homecoming.
he was still
Her-
mad.
Yeah,
probably didn't go.
but I was like, I didn't go because I hadn't been because we had an awful homecoming experience the first time I took her, which is a whole nother episode. Because for you all who haven't been to an HBCU homecoming, we fought all night long over that one question you should never ask at an HBCU homecoming if you didn't go, which
Did
is
you mess with her?
who is that? Did you mess? Yeah,
Mhm,
exactly.
mhm.
Please, because they give hugs that are different
Avoid
at HBCU.
it. Avoid
Yeah.
it.
So I didn't go back for a long period of time, but she went with her sisters, whatever, and then I punched a hole in the wall. We ended up breaking up after that, but we got back together after some time.
But
And
can
then-
you? I'm confused with her. Did you punch the hole in the wall? Why? Was it that she was at homecoming? Was it that she was there to spite you? Was it that she might have run into some dudes and they might have hollered
Maybe
at
all
her?
of
and
the
she might have
above.
left?
all of the above.
All
Okay.
of the above.
Okay.
All of the above. And when you're irrational, and it
Yeah.
makes no sense. And then you wake up in the morning, you're like, I got this hole in the wall.
And I got to
Yeah.
patch this thing up. Yeah.
Okay.
And
So
his
that was
hand
first.
probably is hurting.
No, I made sure there was no stud right there. I wasn't silly.
Okay.
And then I got crashed
No
out on
load
one
bearing
time.
wall.
not searching for a stud in it,
No
be like-
load bearing walls here.
And then I got
crashed
crashed
out
out
on
on
you?
one time. I'm not gonna say who, but in college one time, my senior year, my good friend Jared Lodholt, my ex-girlfriend came in the house and she was like, I'm gonna just go back here. She had been mad at me for something, probably because I was too good of an American. And she put all my
Lord.
clothes. She put all my clothes in the tub, and when Jared walked back there, my entire closet, she had bleach out, and he stopped her. He stopped her from pouring bleach
Oh,
on my
no.
clothes. But
Oh my God.
when I got home, I was like, why are all my clothes in the tub? And he was like, you're lucky. It almost got
Yeah.
worse than this.
Just say
So
thanks.
shout out to my brother for saving me on that infamous crash out.
Thank
moment.
you
Andrew,
for
Angela,
being
did you
a
want to share?
friend.
Did you want to share yours?
No, I don't. I wanted to talk about this white woman and this black man and what happened as a result of, because his crash out was severe. He went to jail. I ain't never been to jail. I ain't never threatened violence
I
on
haven't been
anybody. But
Can
I will say,
can you
I
tell
had
me
a
what
response
happened,
to some.
Angela, about with the
Sure.
white man and the black? Because I'm still a little confused. I'm gonna tell you. You tell me what I got wrong. He's married to
Yes.
a white woman. She
Yes.
works at the school doing what? Do we know what she does?
She's
No,
an
no.
assistant, an
no.
administrative
Who is the
assistant.
she you're talking about? His wife
The
don't work
mistress.
The extra.
No,
Oh, the
she's
mistress.
talking about the mistress.
The mistress is
Side.
his administrative assistant.
Yes, executive assistant.
She's his executive assistant. These two start having an affair.
Mhm.
And you said that he Uber Eats her a Plan B. Like, how did all this blow up?
That is what is rumored. I don't have any fact on that, but it is interesting because they're saying how this relationship was discovered, right? That there was a DoorDash or some type of order of Plan B to the office. And it was discovered in that way. I know that's ignorant, but it tracks because this whole thing is ignorant. She was an administrative assistant in the athletic department. You see her like on the field with her, talking to her. I don't know if that was a practice or a game. I think it was right before a game. But they were in a relationship and it's been ongoing for at least a year. It's been like, it's not,
Oh,
it
but
wasn't
it was one of those things. It was a well-known secret.
well known.
Well-known
How?
So an
secret.
Worst
open
kept
secret. Open
Yeah,
secret.
open secret.
worst
Like they would
kept.
walk around on campus together. The football players would kind of pick on. They would talk about it, pick on him about it. It was a well-known secret. Her father is actually the executive scout for the Chicago Bears.
How about that? How about that?
So,
So I think that's why I think that this is far more nefarious than what is being
So can we-
alleged. Go ahead.
yeah, no, I was gonna say, and that this goes deep in deep water here, and this is a mini pod. When I got elected in 2006, one of my family friends who is a very well-known former member.
Wait, Bakari, you're ADD. Tiff, did you get clarity on this storyline?
I think so.
Okay,
I assume
good.
I'm unsure how it all blew up,
but
how it came
this
to
ties
light.
in.
Yeah.
This ties in.
Okay.
This ties in.
We're tied together.
No. And I'm not going to
to
mention his name, but he's very popular, very well known politician. But he's a close family friend. And he told me when I got elected, he said, you never hire anyone that's attractive. And he said, either you are sleeping with them or people think you're sleeping with them. And I know that probably is one of the more misogynistic, sexist type of ideals. I was looking at my friend Ben Watson. He was talking about his college football coach. Ben is a great guy, played tight end at the Georgia Bulldogs, played in the NFL 20 years. And he said his college football coach would not get in an elevator with a woman by himself. And I know that's outdated, but so that's my question to y'all. And I don't know if Andrew heard anything similar. It does seem unfair, but
I was supposed to hire a mother figure for my office, and I sure did. Angela Whitaker, love her to death. She's a preacher, and was my EA, and she had the discernment of Jesus's first acolyte. If you were calling the office I had, honestly, when I first got elected, I had people who, a Miss USA contestant, come bring her fold-out book, walk me through the pictures, and when she got crowned, this is that, and that. I mean, my aide was in for every meeting that she was suspicious of. Sat right there in the room. There were
what job you give her?
There were no jobs handed out, none whatsoever.
Andrew, I'm so sorry.
Such an inappropriate joke, Dr. Mask.
No, Bakari, you're hilarious. You really are. I'm not following you down into any of those drains, however. But the point is that, yes, it was stated, and then it was like, okay, my progressive self, we cannot state this anywhere. But there were operating rules that were not stated around much of those kinds of things. And I do think it's unfortunate, but I have to tell you, almost to a T, every one of those instances that she was suspicious about could have very easily become something else, because in the moment when she's not there is when the inappropriate comment gets made to you, or the overture, you sense the overture being made, and you have to have discipline around to avoid it or to walk through that door. So the truth is that even though it's probably not popular, and it certainly isn't in anybody's HR book to do this, most of those instincts around not doing that is probably the right instinct.
That's not
I agree.
fair, though.
I think
it is not fair.
agree.
It's very unfair.
I don't think it's fair either, but I'm going to tell y'all, there's like very traditional church stuff around this. So like growing up, in high school anyway, I started going to Kojic Church in high school. We were told like you date in groups, you go in groups. And even after that, like you don't do, if you meet with a pastor or an elder or deacon, you meet with the door open. Like there are some things that people do, not because it's biblical, but just because it's wisdom. And I think that, there are a lot of, especially young folks are like, all of that sounds crazy. But like, even when I started my CBC job, the first CBC meeting I went to, I had on it was my favorite DVF dress. It was black and it was form fitting, but it wasn't
below
like
the knees.
Yes, it was. It was right to the knee, like right at the knee.
You needed a throw.
Did you have to jump up and down?
No, shut up. No, just wait a minute. Let me make my point. So the thing is, it was form fitting, but it wasn't skin tight. The women members that left that meeting and how they described what I had on, you would think that my ass was out at the club, boobs, booty, everything, see-through. Like, it was so bad. And you know what was behind that? I was so offended at first when it was reported back to me by Patrice Willoughby, who was the ED before me. But she was saying, the members really want to make sure that you cover up, the women are, and they were trying to protect me from the men. So there is something about it that is frustrating, that is remarkably unfair, but also it comes from a place of protection. For the most part, I ain't gonna speak for all of them, but I know in my experiences, it absolutely came from protection.
No, I want to hear Tiffany.
Always.
Tiffany about to bubble over. Go ahead, Tiffany.
Because I think that's so unfair. And if that were the case, then Angela wouldn't have been hired for any of the jobs that she had on Capitol Hill. I also don't think that those comments are always rooted in protection. Sometimes there is like an animus towards younger women who look a certain way.
Sure.
And you can feel that, and it doesn't come from a good place all the time. Furthermore, it's discrimination. Like, you're discriminating against somebody, and I think it says more about the hirer than it does the potential employee, that you cannot handle a situation. Like, attractive people can be attractive and smart and capable. So if whoever was doing, Mr. Cleaver's hiring, Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver from Missouri, who was the executive director of the CBC at the time, Angela worked there, or the chair of the CBC when Angela was ED. Imagine them saying like, no, Mr. Cleaver, like, she can't work for you. Like, she's too attractive. Like, that would not have been fair to.
But the facts is that attractive people are not losing. They're the ones who are large. I mean,
well, we don't know that. That's the
no. Studies repeatedly identify that capital. The more attractive you are, the more likely you are to be hired, the higher paid you are, so on and so on and so on.
Native Land Pod is a production of iHeartRadio in partnership with Reason Choice Media. For more podcasts from iHeartRadio, visit the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.